Hello everyone, I hope you guys are doing well and studies are going in full swing. Now for the September 25 students, there are just last 3 months remaining and there are a lot of issues, a lot of battles that you're fighting in your head. Now in today's video, I'm going to help you probably get important tips and things that you have to remember for these last 3 months, so that no matter what has happened in the past, you can use these last 3 months and get your coveted prefix. So let us get started. First of all, the number of revisions. Now, when you started your course, you had a target in mind, maybe listening to your seniors, maybe having, let us say, your goals, maybe 2, 3, 4 number of revisions you would have decided. But now with the time remaining, you're kind of probably struggling to complete the target. Now, this is where I want to tell you that your number of revisions, though important, don't only matter. Well, truth be told, minimum 2 revisions should be done properly. If you are looking at maybe you had planned the third and fourth but third revision you had planned, you might not have time. It is absolutely fine if you do 2 proper revisions. Truth be told, even when I gave the exam, I did 2 proper revisions, and to be honest, I could manage my exams with that. So if you can achieve 2 proper revisions, you are in good shape. Even if you don't have the time for the later revision, that's absolutely fine. Remember, the number of revisions don't only matter. What you do in that revisions matter as well. And this is where I see at this stage students freaking out, where they find that they're unable to recollect. You would have done your FR, AFM, DT a few months and sometimes a year or so back, and when you sit to revise, it appears as if it is completely blank. It appears that who has highlighted this? Well, let me tell you this, that it is absolutely normal, because you have done this quite some time back. This is the first exam where you are giving, where you have such a long gap between your intermediate and final. You have been working and there are a lot of things which are running around, and as a result, to expect that you remember everything that you have done months, weeks or even years back is not correct. That is kind of putting you into an undue pressure, which is not, it's not human to remember everything that you have done. I mean, you know that things are familiar, but you don't get the confidence to solve the sum at the end. That is absolutely fine. Embrace that. Remember that everyone who gave the exams before you also was in the same journey, and once you do the first revision, things settle down a lot more better, and hence the first revision, dedicate adequate amount of time for your first revision, and then in the second revision do a lot more exam focused preparation, so that you can kind of get this clear. So if you are not able to remember stuff in a way that you can write in the exam, let me tell you, that is normal. Don't freak out. Don't go and say that, oh, I don't remember, I'll go to the next attempt, this, that. No, that is normal. Even if you go to the next attempt, you will find it difficult to remember stuff that was done earlier, and that is human brain, right? You have a huge volume of information on you. Second is, you would have planned maybe giving some tests. Are tests required? I would definitely say yes. The number of tests again don't matter. Even if you write 1 full test for every subject after your second revision is when you should write your full test, is the best. If you have a test series, great. If not, you can always write the latest, let's say May 25 institute exam papers, and then kind of plan your time and ensure that you kind of I mean, it's not really the marks that you get, it is more that the time planning, the writing practice is what is most crucial. Now, you cannot generalize over here, but some students, like I was a relatively slow writer. If you are a slow writer, at this point is the point where you can spend a little more time on pen and paper, and when writing, don't write slowly with the best of the handwriting. Push your hand a little to kind of get on that speed, because it will not suddenly come. And no matter how good you prepare, if you can't write 15-20 marks of your paper, that is not going to help you at all. And 3 months is a good enough amount of time to bring back at least a few minutes of your time by improving your writing speed, because you have been working on the laptop, and now in these days you are giving audio commands, and hence you are not even typing. I mean, typing speed doesn't matter, but writing speed does. And as a result, spend some time. If you're writing a paper, you're doing a sum, do it with keeping writing speed in mind. Again, number of tests don't matter, but 1 test per subject, at least after the second revision, is what I would recommend. In terms of the time, the bigger problem over here is, you say that, well, I don't have any time remaining, so let me cut the test and let me cut all of these. This is not what you should do. These are very important, and hence ensure that you have at least 3 hours per subject, 5 or 6 subjects, let's say 18 to 20 hours you need for the test uninterrupted, different points of time. But keep that in mind, And if you have lesser time remaining, remember everyone around you also has lesser time remaining. There is no one who comes and says, no, I am adequately prepared, chalo, whatever paper comes, I will solve. No, that does not happen. It's a professional exam. You are racing against time, and for every minute that you have, utilize it judiciously. It is not that I'm not saying that you take breaks, you take your breaks, but ensure that as much time as you have, buy your time that social media is taking, buy your time that your distractions are taking. Having no time and still having, let us say, 3 hours spent as daily screen time is not going anywhere. Buy back your time. Okay, when you are studying, you are saying that I'm let us say finding it difficult. The best tip that helps for most of students is to keep your phone in another room. Trust me, the moment you go into the phone, it does not, you don't know how much time you have spent. You went for a constructive thing, and now you're now just kind of guilty of spending so much time. So keep your phone in another room. I know you are inherently lazy, so am I, and the effort that you have to take to go to another room and then take the phone, unlock it, no, you're not going to do that. You might as well going to sit. Maybe if you want to take a break, take a small walk, go to your, let's say, window, just look outside, take a breath of fresh air, but buy back your time that maybe your device is taking up, and use that in the most productive way. Your time will suddenly cop up. Then at this point, a lot of students might say that, okay, I don't have enough time, I want to shift to January, because the exam form is, you still have some time. And if you have decided September, remember, the idea is never shifting the goalpost. If you have a clear goalpost, if you have flexibility, हाँ ये नहीं तो बाद में करेंगे, no. If I've decided September, in general, I should go for September only. And the time that I spend in thinking about moving to January or doing this and that, no, that does not really help. If you've decided September now, come January, you will then say, I'll go to May. There's no end to this, okay? Because this is a course which is going to be kind of, it is going to push your limit, and hence I would say that if you have decided September, go for September. In the worst case, there may be a decision between 1 and 2 groups. Maybe we'll put a separate video for this. But for the timing, if you have decided your 2 groups, plan for 2 groups. At least do one of them properly, and you never know. Fortune favors the brave, and if you have done a bit of the second group, and things can work in your favor. But then if you are having limited time, rather than shifting entirely to January, I would say you prepare one of the groups properly, don't leave the other group, but ensure that you kind of touch upon the basics. And if fortune favors you, Sept has done wonders in the past, and there have been miraculous stories in the past as well. And I'm sure that if you are brave enough, then God will give you the opportunity, and He will give you the results for it. But be brave. What you have decided, stick to your decision. Shifting the goalpost is not the right way. Between 1 and 2 groups, you can always plan, but do one group properly. And when you're revising, don't think about the other group. Think about that subject, that chapter that you're doing. Okay, a lot of students have backlogs, especially on your lectures, etc. And if you're still watching lectures for subjects, I mean, I realize that maybe there are 1-2 chapters here or there, that is fine. But if you're still watching lectures for your subjects, maybe as for those subjects, if you have done the 80-20 rule, because now, to be honest, you'll have relatively lesser time, and hence you focus on the ABC. That's not the ideal approach for an exam, but if you have less time and you have to optimize, maybe follow the 80-20 rule over there. If you have a backlog in lecture viewing, which is different from backlog on revisions, in which case you focus on the top topics from which 80% of your material is going to come, and just focus on that and try to strengthen that. Those strengths will probably help you in your course. In revision, there may be some backlog. Well, try to cover that backlog. Have a realistic target while you are revising in terms of the number of days. If FR is going to take, let's say, 13 to 15 days, you plan that we'll do it in 8 days, is not going to happen, right? That is going to put you even more pressure and even increase your backlog. Making a plan on Excel is easy. Sticking to that plan is difficult. And hence, if you have a slight variation, it is fine. But ensure that you don't over plan by taking very unrealistic targets, okay? And then the last bonus tip that you should remember over here is, while you're revising, revise for the last 1.5 days. That is, mark the important LDR questions and the adjustments with the different color highlighter, which you can view before your exams. So I'll leave you at this. Study well, study hard, and I'm sure you're going to make it. Good luck, goodbye, and take care.